Hello. Sorry for technical difficulties. We started this 3 times and different people tell us that they see different things, and I think now we sorted it out. Welcome to American Love, Cooking Up Common Good. Finally. Thank you everybody for hanging on, and please inform your friends or family who are wondering whether you have starting or not. We are starting. So Cooking Up Common Good is sponsored by votecommongood.org, an organization that wants to elevate the conversation and flip the story and help us get to November 3rd in better shape, better hearts and better minds and better connected. So we're going through we are visiting 10 swing states, talking about people and food and stories and really enjoying ourselves, because there's so much love and beauty in all of our states, in all of our contradictions that we have together. So today we are talking about Georgia, and Georgia holds somewhat a special place. Because if you live in Croatia, I grew up there, down there, or whatever, however you want to put it, but I know Georgia since I was, in a high school and elementary school. When you learn about United States, you know a handful of states, but Georgia is important because of the art, because of the history, because of the beginnings of movements of change and social change. So what happens is that every generation has to reinvent itself and re-own itself, and Georgia has a special place there. So we're going to go there, and we're going to also we're going to also recognize that social change is connected with food as we go. So we have 4 dishes coming up, and macaroni and cheese, of course, we had to cover that in this series. Fried chicken, yes, that is coming too. Peach cobbler, we are in Georgia. And also baby back ribs, and our chefs are Mark, Alli, and Tracy. So before we start with actually the cooking part, I want to welcome Bridget Barkin here again. She has made a song for us called Georgia. And she's honoring a hip-hop scene that is happening right now in the South. And she wrote the lyrics, made the music, mixed it, recorded, and sent it to us. Thank you, Bridget, so much. Pay attention to what she's saying. Thank you.
Peace and love, beautiful people. Bridget Barkin, once again, with a song for you inspired by Georgia. Now, I love Southern hip hop, so instead of playing the guitar this week, I decided to make a track with a sample that you might recognize. At the end of the song, you will hear me sing a word, alekete, which means to get up, to rise, in the language of the Creek Nation. Let's do it.
ATL, what's that smell? Mama's in the kitchen cooking good as hell. Shrimp and grits, corn on the cob, fried chicken and a wild supper hog. I got Georgia on my mind. I got Georgia in my heart. Down to Savannah, play the piano like Ray Charles, getting hot in Atlanta. Sweet as a peach, but salty like a peanut. Polite with the neighbors, then I flip it like a diva. Georgia on my mind. Yeah, I got Georgia in my heart. Home to Alice, not Wonderland, Miss Walker. She wrote for Promised Land, sisterhood that she offered. Pray to the king, that's Martin Luther, on Auburn Avenue, the birth of the doctor. I got Georgia on my mind. Yeah, I got Georgia in my heart. Alekete, 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 alekete. Alegre, 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 alegre. I got Georgia on my mind. I got Georgia in my heart. Oh yeah.
Oh, Bridget, thank you so much. I will be love to be there and hug you. But we are apart, so thank you so much. Feel so much energy from this song. And as we move forward, we are moving towards actually the nitty-gritties of the kitchen. Kitchen is important because around in the kitchen table, important conversation occur and relationships develop. And Tracy and Alli are two friends from Atlanta. Alli Malafronte is one of our chefs, but so is Tracy. They come in pair, like grits, they come together. And they are preparing, you will see, they have 3 dishes that they will introduce. And I really love to hear their story because they became best friends as cardiology nurses. They work in an environment that is very demanding, and they sort of discover each other's hearts and souls and stories and grow really close. And in this time when we are going through all kinds of social change and Black Lives Matter protests, both of them have a different experience, and they compare their notes. And both of them find surprises. Tracy finds surprise in new hope that this time we might actually become the America we thought we were. And Alli learns to listen, to actually reconsider everything she knows and relearns to become a beginner again. It's beautiful. So they invited us into their home, come there, taste and smell how the friendship tastes and smells.
Hi, I am Alli, and I was born white.
Hi, I'm Tracy. I have a son, Duran,
I have a son born in 1997.
and I have daughters, Taylor and Trinity.
I have a daughter born in 2000.
I love the Lord, life, and I love our country.
I love God, life, and America.
We are the best of friends.
We are best friends.
I want equality and a future for our children.
I want equality for her children.
It's time.
It is time.
Vote November 3rd.
Vote November 3 for my children.
Vote for my children.
Vote November 3 for our children.
Vote for our children.
All lives won't matter until Black lives matter. Hey everyone, it's Alli from Georgia, and I've been waiting for this moment for weeks since we started this. I'm with my best friend Tracy.
Hey,
and
everybody.
Weeks and weeks ago when Samir put this together, I told him from the start Tracy and I would be working, right? How long ago did I tell you about this?
Oh, about a month maybe, right?
2. At least 2 months.
At least.
We are cooking up common good. Georgia is a swing state, and it's going to happen here in Georgia November 3, and we are ready. But we're excited about cooking. Our menu tonight is peach cobbler, which we're going to start with the dessert, and we're doing fried chicken and homemade mac and cheese.
That's it.
So that's what you're going to see us doing. So I'm going to start right in on peach cobbler so we can get it in the oven. So starting with our peach cobbler, something we do to get the skin off the peaches, put it in boiling water for 3 minutes. And I've actually never made peach cobbler, even though I'm from Georgia. So this is new. So we're going to put the butter in the baking dish, half a cup, throw it in the oven as it melts. Okay. This is how Georgia cooks. Lots of butter. Lots of it's on. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. So the peaches are in the water. They're going to be in there for 3 minutes, and then the skin will just fall off after you put it in ice water. In the meantime, flour, sugar, baking powder. Just add your milk. You don't have, it's a cup of milk. You don't have to add all of it. We'll post the recipe on this website. And in the peaches, you do a tablespoon of lemon juice, a cup of sugar, put it on. You want to kill these? Ready? Or throw them in the ice water. Tracy is going to help me as my sous chef, and then I'm going to help her do the main food. I'll be her assistant.
Maybe a little bit longer.
So Tracy and I have been working together 5 years.
For 5 whole years.
We started out as co-workers, and now we're best friends. And we're actually better at work than we are in the kitchen together. 'Cause we work like a well-oiled machine at work. We never even question each other. We think the same
Close.
things.
It's amazing. It's crazy.
Usually we answer each other's questions, or we think the same thing. So.
I'm constantly saying, "Get out of my head, Allison."
Okay, everyone, I'm still making the peach cobbler. We put the peaches in the boiling water. We threw it in ice water, and the peeling just falls off. It's actually makes it so much easier. You don't lose any of the peach. Oh, and then just slice it into a cup of sugar and let it cook just for a few minutes on the stove. And then I put half a cup of butter in the pan. So half a cup of butter just in your baking dish, melted. You're gonna take your batter, cup of flour, cup of sugar, tablespoon of baking powder, a little bit of salt. And you wanna just pour this into the baking dish. It's hot with the butter. You don't wanna stir it. Just let the butter do its thing. Then once you get the peaches cooking in the sugar, this is so easy, so easy. You're just gonna pour it over the batter. You don't stir the butter with the batter, just let it do its thing. And then cinnamon. Every recipe I read, you want lots of it. You're gonna bake this at 375 for 40 minutes. And while this is baking, we're gonna work on the mac and cheese and fried chicken. All right, now that the peach cobbler's in the oven, we're gonna move on to the homemade mac and cheese and fried chicken. We've already cooked the noodles, and so we're gonna just start that process. Tracy's gonna talk us through it. It's her recipe.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and drain these noodles off real quick here. So we're gonna turn this one. You turned it off? All right. So we're gonna put some of this butter in here to get this cheese going. About half a stick of butter. Put some sour cream. And then we have some sharp Vermont cheese here. We're gonna put that in there. Put that on the plate. Okay, just scrape it. right, we're gonna add a lot more cheese. We're just getting started.
Oh,
And give it a little flavor, a little seasoning here.
what is that?
This is Himalayan sea salt, and we boil the noodles with some salt also, so you can make sure there's some flavor to those noodles. This is some garlic, and we'll put a little black pepper.
A lot of black pepper.
Okay, so we're gonna mix this up here so we can get this cheese melted. So we're gonna add some of our cheddar cheese and the Vermont sharp cheese to the noodles that we're mixing, and then we're gonna also add some of the cheese in layers. You wanna get all that melted cheese in there.
Cameraman.
Cheese and butter, sour cream. Sour cream gives it that little bite to it. Okay. So we're gonna put some of this cheese here.
Okay.
And some of that one.
Do you add a little at a time?
Yeah, so it'll melt, you know, get through there real well.
Just like that.
But what's gonna really bring it all together is once I put it in the baking dish and you pour the evaporated milk over it, it makes everything stick together. And it is good.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so now we've got this all mixed up. We're gonna go ahead and layer this. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest of that butter in there. This
That's
is
what we do
Georgia,
in the
right?
South. Of course you have
That's
the
what
butter.
we do.
Make that cheese even smoother.
That's right. This is only one, let's see, how much of this is this? This one casserole dish is just one box of these noodles. So it goes a long way though. So I'm gonna get this butter melted. Actually, it doesn't even really need to melt completely because it's going in the oven for a little while and it'll finish the rest there. Get this out of the way.
Just like work. You're doing it perfectly.
All right, so here we're gonna put some of these noodles in here.
Oh, so you're gonna lay it.
Yeah. Pan's probably a little bigger than it should be, you know?
There.
Pan's probably a little bit big,
Yeah,
but
it'll be
we'll
good.
make it work.
Yeah. I see.
So mac and cheese, you can make it your own. However cheesy you want it, or not cheesy, or layered, but mine should actually be called cheese and macaroni. All right.
Will you put cheese on the top layer too?
Yep. So the rest of that for that. Turn it down, thank you. So I'm gonna do that, and the rest of this will go on top. There we go. Put this out of the
Yeah.
way.
Awesome.
I'm gonna spread this
So
out
Tracy,
good
you and I
here.
started talking about doing this cooking show before all the protest,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
took our level of conversation at work to a whole nother place.
Yes, it did.
So we're doing this cooking show for voting November 3 and Swinging Georgia. And in the process, we've been close friends and learning a lot of new techniques in conversation.
Yes.
Tracy's taught me everything.
And I've learned a whole lot myself. A whole lot. So we want to make sure we have cheese to the edge. We want lots of cheese, covering the whole thing.
Wow.
Now, this is going to be it right there. So now we're going to take this evaporated milk, and this is what's going to pull everything together. We're gonna just pour it over.
How much is that? 2 cups?
This is 1 can of it.
Okay.
1 can of evaporated milk.
I have another if you need it. I have whole milk too.
Yeah, that'll do it right there.
Okay.
See, and once it starts baking, it's gonna pull all that cheese together.
Here goes the
We'll
good
put the
stuff on.
breadcrumbs on top. And we are ready to put this in the oven.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're gonna fry our chicken. The chicken has already been cleaned and seasoned, and it's been seasoned with some paprika, our garlic powder, poultry seasoning, and our Himalayan sea salt. So that chicken's ready, but for the flour, we're gonna put a little seasoning in there as well. Not a whole lot, just enough to add to the chicken flavor. And this paprika is gonna help get a pretty brown color. Just a little bit of salt there. Oops, sorry. Wouldn't be a kitchen if you didn't make a mess. All right, there we go, a little poultry seasoning, and we're gonna add our panko breadcrumbs to that so that we can have some nice crunchy chicken.
And this is your grandma's recipe.
Minus the panko breadcrumbs.
Oh, she wouldn't use those. You
Nah,
added.
I add those. Okay. So now we're gonna mix that flour up real good with all that seasoning. All right. Can you grab me those little tongs over there,
Yep.
please? So we're going to take our chicken, put it in the flour, so we can get it coated. We're not gonna put them all in there at the same time because we want to make sure they get a good coating on them.
Where do you want the oil?
Ooh. Yeah, thank you. We're gonna get those coated just like that.
Pretty hot.
We're gonna shake off all that excess flour so it's not in our oil. Make sure our pan is nice and hot. You can tell how hot it is. It's frying as soon as it hits the grease. And that's what we want to do. Here's our second piece. We are frying this chicken in Grandma's cast iron skillet.
Is it her?
Now that definitely is
That's awesome.
passing down. You know,
My mom has her.
my mom fries chicken that did fry chicken that way. Rest in peace. And Grandma did the same thing.
My mom has the same thing, and a fish pan that her
Yes.
great grandma and her grandma and mom,
Yep.
and now she has it.
All right, doing the same thing with this chicken. We want to make sure we get all that excess
I'll
off
be doing. When are you gonna turn this?
in just a little bit.
Okay.
Once I get this other one in here, you don't want to crowd the pan up either. So you can get a good fry all the way around. If there's too many pieces of chicken in there, it won't do that. Yeah, we probably should since we got 3 left. So I'm gonna leave these tongs for the raw chicken. The other ones for the chicken we're cooking. All right, so we're halfway through our fried chicken. We have our last few pieces in here, finishing off. We have our mac and cheese in the oven, finishing off. All right, we'll be taking these out. And make sure you shake off any excess oil. You lay them on that paper towel to make sure it gets the rest of that excess oil out. Helps the chicken stay crunchy.
Wait till you see this mac and cheese.
It's almost ready. Turn it off. You did already?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Crazy, we work in the kitchen like we do at work.
We do.
That's funny.
I knew we would.
All right.
All right. Get your mac and cheese.
Okay, that is all done there. We're gonna move that off the stove here. Okay, here we go. Whoa, it's all runaway mac and cheese.
What do you serve with this? We usually
Well, we would do
turnip greens.
sometimes turnip greens, collard greens. I do steamed broccoli. Sometimes we'll do some cornbread also if I do the greens with it.
Awesome. All right, and then we'll get the cobbler out and we will have a taste test.
All right,
All
so
right.
here we are. Most of the meal's done.
Okay, everyone, we're back with the finale. Mac and cheese, fried chicken. My daughter Gabby, her boyfriend Blake are here to do the taste test. All right,
you
serve them
ready?
up, Trace.
All right, guys, let's see. We'll start with this mac and cheese. Blake, can you grab your fork for me? We're gonna get that cheesiness in there.
What do you think about the mac and cheese and chicken?
I can't stop. Is that dangerous?
I took a bite. It's the best mac and cheese
guys
ever.
are sweet.
Okay,
This is-
Georgia boy, what do you
This is
think?
my third piece of chicken. And
Yeah,
Enjoy it. I love
under 2 minutes. I love it. All right, love ya.
Thank you, Alli. Thank you, Tracy. Oh, we are salivating over here. Everybody who's watching. And I wanted little refreshments, and I was thinking, you know, what do they drink in Georgia? And it's a watermelon lemonade, so I made some. Oh, you just got to do the watermelon. You just blend it, put a couple of limes inside, and then you just put some salt in the cup and a little bit of water, or actually a little bit of lemonade itself, and then the cup goes inside, touch the salt, and then pour the lemonade like that, and then a little bit of mint on top, and then you invite somebody you love. Hey love, come over.
Hi.
Hey, here is my protester, my favorite one. She's constantly protesting and collecting money over Venmo and feeding the protesters and making them happy and fed and all day out. She's all day out every day. So what do you know about Georgia?
Georgia peaches, of course. The woman who wrote The Color Purple, Alice Walker, she's from Georgia.
All right.
Who
We
else?
saw that together.
Oh yeah, saw that. That musical is really good. Martin Luther King was born in Georgia. It's
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And you know, Atlanta and Georgia, it's a center of the South.
yep.
And today, it's good music there, right?
Southern rap, Southern hip hop. It's definitely the center. Yeah.
All right. Hey, here's to Georgia and the new revolution that's coming. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. Now we turn to Mark Sandlin, and he will show you how to make a ribs that will melt you.
Hello folks, and welcome to my kitchen. We're in the great state of Georgia this week, so I decided I was going to do some baby back ribs for you. Going to do it Georgia style, so I have a sweet heat sauce that is going to go on it, and I'm going to be using a secret ingredient. That secret ingredient is a product of Georgia, a little Coca-Cola. Don't even drink it myself, but we're going to apply it a couple of different ways to this, and it should be fantastic. So why don't we jump right to it. Here is our baby back. We're going to have a couple of these. You can see I've got it turned over. We've got the membrane here, it's called silver skin, that needs to be removed. It takes a little practice, but once you get used to it, it's not too bad. I use a deboning knife if I need to, and you just get up under it a little bit, and then you can just start literally peeling it back. So I'm going to work on this, and then we'll be back with the next step. So I've removed the silver skin. I now have those ribs in a little piece of Tupperware here, and this is where we're going to use one of our secret ingredients. We're going to marinate these racks of ribs in Coca-Cola. Basically what that's going to do is not only is it going to add a little bit of flavor, but more so than that, it's going to act as a tenderizer. And so when we cook these, we're going to slow cook them. It'll have a lot more moisture from slow cooking them, but the Coca-Cola is going to help keep them as tender as possible so that they basically just fall off the bone when we're ready. Okay folks, so we are out at the smoker now. The ribs have been marinating for 6 to 8 hours. If you have the time, do it overnight, even better. You can see the smoke is building up as we preheat the smoker. We got actually quite a lot going, so that's going to be good. The next thing to do is to add our dry rub to the ribs. Now, any good, ooh, look at the smoke. Any good pitmaster has their own proprietary blend for smoking. I'm not going to give you all the secrets, but you know, it's a lot of what you would expect. There's black pepper, cayenne pepper, cumin, garlic powder, brown sugar. Let's just say some other stuff that I like to go on my smoked meats. So the only thing left to do right now, let me grab another glove here. We're going to stick that on so that I can rub the dry rub in, and you know, this is something you're going to put on liberally. So let's get a look at this. We're going to put quite a lot on, and it's called a rub, not a pat. It's okay to pat some, but make sure you rub it in enough that it's really sticking to it. You want to get a nice coating all over it. I'm going to flip these. Just like that. Doesn't matter as much on the back side of these ribs. Still want to get some coating for flavoring, but all the meat is really on this side. So I'm going to take one more look at this. Hit it with a little extra rub, just to be sure. Oops, almost lost it. Then we're going to throw it all right on the smoker. This is going to sit here about 2 hours, and then after those 2 hours, we'll come back out, make up some tinfoil boats, and move it on to its next stage. But in the meantime, let's go inside and make up a little bit of that Georgia sweet sauce. Okay, so let's put together our hot, sweet Georgia style barbecue sauce. I like doing it in a cast iron skillet. Getting that flat surface and spreading it all out helps get it to cook through a little bit quicker. We're going to go through this pretty quickly, so hold on. We're going to start with a good amount of ketchup. Matter of fact, it's one of our main ingredients here. I would say there's probably a good cup of the ketchup in there. Next, Worcestershire. I'm probably going to use about a 1/4 cup of that. Get that going. Now, it is Georgia style, and Georgia leans a little towards mustard compared to the vinegars of some other states like Tennessee and North Carolina. So I'm throwing in some spicy brown mustard. Give it that little mustard edge. For the sweetness, we got quite a few things going on here. First one is going to be molasses. I love the smell. It's fantastic. It is Georgia, so we're going to put a little bit of a peach juice into this. I'm guessing, again, I don't know, about a 1/4 cup. Once again, we're going to go with a little Coca-Cola. Again, it'll add to the sweetness. That's about a 1/4 cup too. We'll throw in some of our rub. It gives us that extra flavor. And I'm a good North Carolina boy, so I need some hot, and gonna have to go with Texas Pete on that. Again, little under 1/4 cup. Grab my whisk here. I'm gonna try to get this mixed together. Have the heat going. We're gonna let it cook down until it's a nice consistency. and we'll finish these ribs off with it. So we're back out here at the smoker. We've been smoking these ribs around 200 degrees. We put them directly on the rack. They should be barking up. Actually, I know that they are because I've already started this step just to make it go along a little faster. What we're going to do is I've taken 2 pieces of tin foil, kind of doubled it up. We're going to create a little boat to put the ribs on. If I can fight the wind and get this rack on here before it blows my tin foil away, it'll be lovely. All right, I think we've got that. And so, like I said, we're gonna make a little boat here. So I pulled it off, got the ribs down there. You can see I already have one going. This is the procedure we're going to use. Make this little boat. So I'm wrapping it up. Keep all that air inside. We don't want to let anything out. I'm going to turn it a little bit here. And then before I close this one, I'm going to turn that up like a little funnel. We'll pour a little apple juice in there. That'll help keep the moisture. It'll make for very moist ribs. It's sitting here on the bottom though, so it's not marinating in it or poaching in it, anything like that. I've turned the temperature up on. Whoop! Do you see my hand there? I turned the temperature up to 250 degrees. So we're going to be cooking it in the tin foil at 250 degrees for another couple of hours, and then we'll put on that sauce that we've made. So we're ready for what's basically our last step here. We've been cooking about 250, smoking it for about 2 hours. Now what we're going to do is remove each of these from their tinfoil packages. I've turned the heat up already to 350 degrees. I'm going to get these open. Oh, they're looking tender. That's lovely. You can see the bones separating already. Then all I'm going to do, you can see I have pulled our homemade sauce off. I'm just going to, well, mop these on, get a nice coating, and then put them directly back on the rack because that's going to help kind of firm up this sauce on top of the ribs. Get that last bit of cooking in. Probably see the meat pull back a little bit further from the bone. I'm going to grab this just like so. You can see it's already trying to fall apart. It's amazing. Whew. Gonna have to get around that way. All right, I'm going to take care of this other one, and then I'll be back when we're ready to pull them off. And this is why you keep an eye out in the last stage. We got some flare up from all of the sauce that came off. We don't want it to overcook because there's so much sugar in there. It'll actually become kind of cakey and hard to eat. So I'm going to pull these off the rest of the way. You can see, look at this. It's just going to pull apart. That's how unbelievably tender this is. You can see it just flaking right off. I'm going to try a little bit before we go in. It's hot, for sure. Just get a little taste. Oh, super moist. Got all the flavor of the baby back, but then there's that sauce, and it is sweet. You can get a little bit of the peach in there. Then a heat that kicks in. Oh, gosh, so good. I hope y'all all decide to try this at home at some point. It's just absolutely delicious.
I have seen people do all kinds of things with meat all over the world and use all kinds of utensils, but I've never seen somebody pulling up a mini mop and dipping into the sauce. I mean, that was just a sight to behold. Mark is not just a pit master, he's a pulpit master, he's a preacher. that preaches about love and grace and courage and truth. And so what would you say about Mark's theology when you watch him here and do his thing? Well, one thing I see is it is a circle of life, baby. I mean, things come and go, and this meat eating, it's a circle of life. So he believes in that. Joy is very important. Hospitality and joy is so critical that he gives so much time and energy to details to make people happy. I can just feel him being happy about sharing this. And of course, he thinks that smoke is awesome. So thank you, Mark, for every time bringing this passion with you. I would like us today to close and wrap this up with a very short reading. I mean, it's essay, but it's short, by Nicole Taylor, who is author of the Up South book. And she grew up in Georgia and lives in Brooklyn. So it's a connection with here in New York. And then here's what she writes. In 1996, right after the Summer Olympics, I moseyed up Interstate 85 North from Athens, Georgia, to Clark Atlanta University for my freshman orientation at Pascal's, a new, now defunct 120-room motel, restaurant, and lounge in Atlanta. My new dorm stood on a lush college campus, but I was drawn to what could be found a few blocks away: ribs from historic Alex Barbecue Haven, Busy Bee's Blackberry Cobbler, and a street marker for the Yates and Milton drugstore's soda fountain, where a generation before a protest movement had been born. In the early 1960s, young people had grabbed cafeteria-style fried chicken from large silver pans and drafted a strategic plan to use cafeteria sit-ins and the media to chop down segregation in the capital of the South. Students from Morehouse College, Clark Atlanta University, Spelman College, Morris Brown College, and the Interdenominational Theological Center met over food and cook up social change. One day, said my Miami-raised roommate with Jamaican roots, I want you to teach me how to make fried chicken. She loved the afternoons when I would whip up golden fowl in our suit small brown kitchen. It shocked me that there were black people unskilled at frying protein, because it seemed everyone knew a master maker of it. On Sunday, all the dining halls served chicken dinner with classic vegetable sides, and I had glide over to the Busy Bee. There, sitting between the who's who and the blue-collar backbone of the city, my main stain was fried chicken with fresh skillet corn, smoky collard green, cornbread muffins, and a large plastic cup of sweetened just right lemonade. 2 decades later, Atlanta has transformed. Shiny new towers scrape the sky. The old Pascal restaurant and a motor hotel is vacant, and the quaint storefronts of Atlanta's southwest neighborhoods have yet to be reborn. A street name honors the Atlanta student movement, but African-American owned southern culinary spots are vanishing. The hope lies in the people and the stove. A new generation must look beyond the pines and make the dishes, cook the food. Stories of progress and equality are waiting for an open door and a welcoming table. So revolutions are often cooked up around the table, because it's around the table that we start thinking about thriving and how things can be better, because we are not in fear when we are around the table. And so many times this has happened in the past. VoteCommonGood.org organization. Idea happened around a dinner of 2 people talking and having a little bit of wine, but grilled lamb. And then there was a larger group for the breakfast. We were all eating Mexican food and came up with the idea to spend a year or 2 actually telling stories and traveling around the country and helping people vote for the common good. This has happened for centuries, for eras, because people will come around the fire and could afford telling stories and memorizing and having memories of the past and dreaming of the future. And when the pot came, around the pot, we would relax enough so we can dream. And that's where all the decisions and dreams pass sooner or later through the kitchen table test. So I invite you, when you think whom are you going to vote for and what are you going to do and what are you going to do with your dreams and with your energy, do it from a place of peace, of no fear, of abundance among friends, and dream things up. And what risks are you going to take? That will emerge, and just stick to that decision and help one another. And this is what we are about. We invite you to join us, votecommongood.org, and we will have a conversation about Georgia and politics there and food there on Thursday at 8 o'clock. So just subscribe at AmericanLove.Kitchen, and you will learn about Thursday, and we'll get together and have a conversation. Those of you who have joined us for the first time, we hope to see you on Thursday. We'll have both Alli and Mark, and you can ask them questions, and we can all move towards November 3rd with hope and courage. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you on Thursday.